Hi, I'm Daniel Foley, and in this video I want to talk to you about taking a step of faith and becoming a person of action. So have you ever been sitting there and all of a sudden you get these flashes of brilliance, these good ideas that come in? Maybe it's for a new business or an invention. Maybe it's a book you could write or a music song that you can produce. Maybe it's for something you can do to reconcile relationships with somebody, or maybe it's somebody that you need to forgive and reach out to. Maybe it's a way that you can bless somebody. You can cook them a meal or give them something financially, whatever it may be. I know you get these good ideas. I know we all get these good ideas, but my question for you is, how often are you taking action on them? How often are you actually getting that good idea and saying, hey, that's something that could really be a blessing to somebody, or that was something that would be really beneficial? These good ideas, they're coming from God, and He wants to see you put them into action, to start to take action on them. So that's my question for you this week. Are you taking action on these good ideas when you get them? So I want to share a story with you, which is a story about the Israelites. So most people know the story of the Israelites, how they were in bondage and slavery in Egypt, and they come out of Egypt and they miraculously cross through the Red Sea and they go into the wilderness. So when they crossed through the Red Sea, the waters were parted first, and then they walked through and they went into the wilderness. Before they could enter into their promised land, however, they had to cross another river, which was the Jordan River. Now the Jordan River, when they crossed that river, it was different this time. When they crossed the Jordan River, the waters did not part until they actually stepped into the waters. So God told them, step into the waters and I'll part the waters once you step in. So this is different than the Red Sea. They actually had to take a step first. They had to take a step of faith and step into the waters, and then the waters would move. Okay, so the same is going to be for you. So a lot of times you will get these good ideas, and the question is are you going to take a step of faith? Okay, a lot of times you'll get this idea, but you're not going to have the whole picture. And the question is, are you going to get started? So I want you to develop this mindset of being a person of action. When you get a good idea of something that's good that you can do, or a way that you can bless somebody, start to take action on it. Start to be a person of action and to get started. So the biggest thing, and number one I want to talk about here, is just getting started. A lot of times we procrastinate and we put it off. I want you to think about this idea that faith is now. So Napoleon Hill was a writer. He's passed away now, but he was a writer a while back. He wrote a lot of self-help and success books. And one of the things he always talked about was what he called the self-starter, which was anytime he found himself procrastinating, he would say to himself, do it now. Get started. Do it now. And I want you to think about that. Anytime you find yourself procrastinating or putting something off, say to yourself, do it now. Get started. Okay? So I want you to think about that. Get started, but I want you to start small. So a lot of times, they didn't have to take a big step when they crossed the Red Sea, or the Jordan River actually. They just had to take a step. Okay, so a lot of times we think, oh, it's too big. Just take a step. Start small and get started. A lot of times we procrastinate because things look too big and we put it off and we put it off. Just get started. Take a step and get started. A lot of times once you take a small step, the next step will become clear on what you need to do once you get started. Okay? And finally, I want to talk about fear. So what is the biggest thing that keeps us from taking that step of faith, from taking action? It's usually fear. Okay? So with fear, we get scared of what people are going to think of us, that we might embarrass ourselves. Maybe we don't think we have the time or the money to do what we're wanting to do. Or, maybe we're just scared that it's going to take too long, or that it's going to be too hard, or that it's too big. Whatever it is, we get all these fears. And what I want you to remember is a lot of times these fears are just in our own minds. It's not actual reality. They're just in our minds. And like I said, you don't have to have the whole picture figured out. You just got to take a step. Okay? So maybe you're fearful of reaching out to that person that you know you need to reconcile differences with. Or maybe you have this idea for a business, but you're scared because you don't have the time or the money to do it, to see it all the way through as of right now. Like I said, a lot of times just taking that steps, just get started, and you will figure it out as you go. The next step will become more clear as you actually take that step. But that's what I want you to remember, is take that step. One final story I want to share with you is that in health and fitness world, in the gym, we see a lot of people, we've seen numerous people through the years that they come in and they know everything there is to know about health and fitness. They know all the nutrition and exercise programs. They're asking very advanced questions on grass-fed beef and all these other things. But then they're still struggling with their weight and with their exercise and all these types of things and with their health, because they're never actually consistently putting it into practice. Okay, so there's this concept of if you're always learning more and more of what to do, but you're never actually applying any of it, you're never going to get anywhere. Okay, so you need to develop this mindset of being a person of action. I would say it's better for you to know less of what to do and to take a step than to know everything that you need to do and do nothing. Okay, so what are the things that you need to do? Look at it this week. What are the things that you know you need to do? Maybe it's you need to forgive somebody, or you need to reach out to somebody. Maybe it's you need to start eating better, or exercising, or reading your Bible, whatever it may be. What are the things that you know you need to do? And get started this week. Start small and get started. And one last thing I want to say is those fears, you're probably going to have them. Anytime you're going to go into something new, we all get uncomfortable as we do new things. You're going to have those fears. I want you to acknowledge the fear, but then go ahead and get started anyway. Just take that step. Remember, faith is now. Get started.